taking it back to content creator baggage, you may be right about the causes you stand for. Society may have problems. But in the context of growing a channel and entertaining people, you have to ask yourself, is what you're doing hurting or limiting your channel even though you're right? And if you know how, for example, Americans vote, as we're going to vote in November, things change. Or you'll know that, there may be a difference between being right and being able to win in this case. Bring up that browser again, that chart that we accidentally showed earlier. See, it's this one, a normal distribution graph. So this has things like standard deviations and stuff like that. Let's move a few things out of the way. This is a bell curve. It's talking about standard deviations and stuff. But what matters here is the bell curve here. Now, right now, politicians will have you thinking our country is divided, our Congress can't get things done, our government is incompetent. But when America goes to the polls in November, this is going to be what everything looks like. If you follow the campaigns, you'll see they're worried about swing states. They're worried about independents. They're worried about unaffiliated voters. They're worried about all the people who aren't solidly left or right, because the people that are solidly left or right are going to vote for Republican or Democrat, or they're going to be further out and they're going to vote some third party that is left-wing or right-wing enough for their tastes. But one of the most useful things I learned when the activist professors at my college convinced me to change my minor from economics to political science is this very idea that Americans vote on a bell curve. So if you're way over here, let's suppose this is left-wing and right-wing. If you're over here, maybe you're a rock-solid Democrat, maybe you're pro-union or something, you're pro-choice, stuff like that. You're going to vote all D's down the ticket. You're over here, you're Republican, you're talking about gun rights, you're, pro-life, you're going to vote all R's down the ticket, things like that. You're out here, you might want a communist revolution to break out. You're out here, you may hate the idea of case law and want the laws of the country to be strictly interpreted via the original Constitution, no matter what that does to our judicial system when precedents get thrown out, things like that. And if you're over here, this can be a lot of different things, in the center or anywhere around here. This can be a lot of different things. There could be people in the center of this graph who will vote for whichever politician has the nicest smile or the nicest looking tie. Or whichever one of the two major party candidates they could have a beer with or something stupid like that, because they don't care. These are people that do not have a lot of views on a lot of issues, but they are going to go vote because they feel it's some kind of civic duty. Or it could be someone like me, who, long removed from the academic environment where people are trying to twist my arm to go left-wing, or the religious environment I dealt with when I was growing up, where people are trying to twist my arm to go right-wing, and I get to evaluate issues independently and decide what my opinions are on each individual issue. So I don't line up much with political parties anymore. So there's all kinds of different types of people in this middle, but they constitute the largest block of voters in the entire country. And that's why you see the two, besides our country being a very successful constitutional republic, but unfortunately with some primitive systems like first past the post voting, which inherently encourages two-party stuff like what we have. We don't have stuff like maybe what some of the parliamentary democracies have, some of which make me jealous. When I learned about how certain other countries vote, who got their ideas from the United States, mind you, when they democratized, I've gotten jealous at some of this, because I know some of the issues that we have here in America are addressed by some of these other countries, even if it makes their elections more complicated. But here's the thing. If you want to win a political election in the United States, this center of people that'll vote for whoever has the prettiest tie or whatever is where the focus is, because it's the largest group of people. The largest group of people aren't as involved in politics as maybe you are. They're not going to get as angry about stuff. They're just going to look for, who looks nice on camera, or who does this. It may be something completely stupid, but they're going to vote for somebody because of that stupid reason. This also applies to content creation. We've talked time and again, and I can, I've brought up YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video where the majority of people watching a video just watched it. The minute you look for any kind of reaction at all, like, dislike, comment, or any combination of the three, bam, vocal minority. There are always way more people just watching. Even when you look at the numbers behind the scenes with YouTube's attempts to filter out when one person physically represents multiple views on a YouTube video, like because of technology things like changing Wi-Fi networks or VPNs or other network changes that make them look like they're two different people in two different places technologically. So, the largest group of people, the largest potential audience is not going to, quite frankly, they're not going to care. Whatever you're upset about, whatever you're angry about, whatever you're fired up about, they're not going to care. And if you get too boat anchored by these pet causes of yours, they're going to find somebody who, again, is just as entertaining, just as informative, doesn't have the baggage. So this bell curve is going to matter in November in terms of who votes and when and what they believe in and stuff like that. But it also applies to content creation. So when I see content creators giving themselves baggage by being angry about something on Twitter, or getting political, or talking about religion too much, or stuff that would shift their content towards these much smaller groups of people on either sides of the curve, then they turn around and they wonder, why is it that channels that are more level-headed and less fiery about things grow bigger than theirs? We look, for example, at channels like Munchkin, cat videos, souped up with some production value and sound effects, stuff that's advertiser-friendly, stuff that's family-friendly, things along those lines. And we've seen the angry people with the angry channels that are angry about stuff in all their videos. We've seen those people think that YouTube is censoring them with demonetization. But the truth of the matter is, if YouTube wants the biggest audience possible, they know that the family-friendly, ad-friendly stuff that caters to the top of this bell curve, people that are the least fired up about stuff and just want to watch stuff on YouTube, these are the people to cater to. So those people are going to look for stuff that's family-friendly, advertiser-friendly, stuff that is the least risky in terms of losing the people in the center of this curve or shifting things in either direction. We're not talking about left-wing, right-wing anymore. Now we're talking about people that are just recreationally using the channel, using YouTube or Twitch, versus people that have more edgy opinions of things, pro or con. Let's do pro-con with these, whether people agree or disagree. So, and it's not about trying to pander to everybody, because you're going to offend people by trying to do that, who want you to take a specific stand on things. But if your content is focused on the center of this chart, as in it doesn't get loaded up with baggage because of something that makes you mad or something you feel very strongly about, that's where you start seeing the growth without some kind of drawback. Because there are people further down the graph that can grind away and use controversy to try and grow an audience, and they will be successful. But they're going to polarize their audience between their fans and their haters. They're going to attract people who agree with them, sometimes quite sharply, and they're also going to attract people who disagree with them quite sharply, who don't want to blacklist their channel and move on with things. They are so mad that they're going to dislike, troll, do whatever, even keep watching angrily if they get banned. And that's when you end up with a fiery audience that, you may not be able to handle. Or your haters, which you have many, trying to sabotage and deplatform you because they are that mad at you that they're trying to abuse systems to get you kicked off of platforms. Because you went in and you decided to grind an axe too much. So instead of these people in the middle who are mellow and just watch and whatnot, and I don't care if this crosses over into the whole discussion that people on Twitch have about so-called normies. Look, If Twitch knows what's good for their business, advertising, they're not going to risk people getting offended away from their platform either. Much like YouTube doesn't want to do that. Now, yeah, YouTube may be looking for solutions to not completely lose edgy content, like selling advertising specifically to companies that want their ads placed on edgier creators. But in the end, you're still going to be talking about the smaller parts of this curve in terms of who agrees or disagrees with you. You're not going to be talking about the people that just want to watch and be entertained. The stuff that's the most family-friendly and the most advertiser-friendly and the least risky in terms of YouTube systems having to recommend replacement creators, so to speak, in case something happens to you. You get mad, you leave the platform, you get banned, so there's no disruption in the people watching and enjoying the content, no matter where it is.